Compared to the various incarnations we've had, this is by far just a mind fuck. It's like it couldn't be worse if Suda51 himself was producing.
Yeah, I think we all are pretty weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Podtoid, episode 156. Alright, 158. If you've just joined us, Max Scoville was telling us about his adventures in Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
What?
Had sex with one of the fattest women of all time just so that I could get access to her jewelry. Her famous Monte Carlo jewelries.
Ah, Monte Carlo! City of poetry! I wish I could have been there with you, but the old war wound!
What's going on?
Even I don't know what's going on right now.
Why did you want access to jewel? What does that even mean? You just wanted to
I'm
touch
a fucking jewel thief. I'm an international jewel thief. You fuck. God, Jesus, can't you just keep up with these things?
And I'm his patron, once his partner. But my old wound!
Well, we know
Is it like
that hollow.
Now I spend my time drinking Chateau de la Planque and breeding tomatoes by the old windowsill.
Is it still like an open wound? Or are you
Having my finest trousers pressed, boy! You should see my trouser press. I got it in Gay Paris.
Yeah, so...
And this is why we don't come up, this is why we don't come up with Podtoid intros while we're in the shower.
Wow, I didn't know about this.
Ourselves, it will be good to start the show by pretending that Max Scoville was regaling us with tales. Because I'd like to imagine that this podcast is all of us, like, as old gentlemen adventurers in a mansion, drinking fine, exquisite liquids and elixirs from around the globe in our finest spices and silks.
Jim, you really are the closest thing in my life to Alan Quatermain. Like, you realize that, right?
Oh, what a compliment.
You're worldly and British, and I just imagine you, like, seated on some great big, like, dais, wearing a fez and robes.
That's the sad thing, is I want to be that. What I think I am is the closest you get to Alan Quatermain. What I actually am is just a fat blogger drinking X Factor fruit punch and berry Gatorade. Dreaming of a day.
Don't they sponsor us? For fuck's sake! I don't talk about them every episode.
Nobody's asked. We should ask them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that I'm not a gentleman adventurer. That's the sad thing. I wanted to start this podcast with a little class, a little elegance, a little bit of exquisitry.
I'm kind of a gentleman adventurer, a little bit.
I think you are. I've gone on adventures with you. Sonic adventures, Apple adventures. Yeah, we've had
Sonic
a good time.
Colors.
We were on a Sonic Colors adventure.
Yeah.
Ho-hum. Anyway, these podcasts start in the wrong way. Is what I'm trying to say. Because we always talk about the business stuff at the end when people stop listening long ago.
Yeah,
so,
we got to talk about video games first.
No. What, are you mad?
Yeah, I guess that was a little off.
Are you fucking mental? No. We have to start with shilling all of our shit first.
Oh!
That's where we've been going wrong. Last week, we didn't mention that Podtoid has an Android app until the very end of the show.
Right.
Who's going to listen to that? No, we mention it now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an app on the Android marketplace which lets you get Podtoid. And it offers you nothing else. It's a bit like EA's Origin in that regard. We expect you to download and sign up for something and offer you nothing in return. It would just help us. But it really would help us. If you like Podtoid and you want to get it straight away, snippety, snappity, snippety, snip, then get it so you've always got Podtoid on your phone. So you can call up your friends and say, dude, I'm listening to Podtoid, it's fucking great. Do not believe it. Anyway, what did you do with her afterwards? So that's what you do, right? So get it because it is good.
Is there any other way to listen to Podtoid on an Android phone? Currently?
Probably, but for the purposes of this conversation, no.
I honestly, I recommend this. I hate my Android phone. I hate everything about it. I want another BlackBerry, but this app is pretty nice, and I like it. When I was about to get on a plane to go to Arizona or wherever the fuck I was, Monte Carlo, to steal fat ladies' jewelry, I went on the Podtoid app and I went download so I can listen to it on the plane. I didn't. There's not an option for that. It's just download. So I did that. I got in the shower. I jumped out of the shower, and it was done downloading, and I had it on my phone. I got on the plane, and I fell asleep and didn't listen to it. But you could listen to it. That's the point.
Yeah. You could, if you're not Sleepy Boy, you can listen to Podtoid. Imagine you can listen to Podtoid, and that is yours to keep.
Bargain.
That made me snort for real.
It did, like one of the pigs that Cyril Sneer used to hang around with in the Raccoons.
What?
What?
In the Raccoons, yeah. In the Raccoons.
Cyril Sneer had 3 pigs, and he was like, get me some forest.
I don't know who that is. Is that like a British show for the children?
No, it's an American show. It's just what I just said and did was nothing like it.
Cyril Sneer?
Yeah.
Are you not thinking of Snidely Whiplash?
No. Cyril Sneer was the bad pink aardvark from the Raccoons, from Bert Raccoon in the Raccoons. And he was supposed to be the bad guy of it, but the only bad thing he ever did was at the intro, the guy would go, Cyril Sneer, and then he would press a button and, trees would turn into dollars, so you knew he was bad because business. He never actually did anything bad in the show. He was just a capitalist. It's the Fern Gully thing all over again. Let's not get bogged into the Fern Gully thing.
So this is a show called The Raccoons, and I will look into this. Thank you.
Raccoons are my favorite animals, so...
Really?
Watch this. Yeah.
Am I the only one on this podcast who knows about the Raccoons?
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what
I assumed you were joking or in an opium den.
I tend to know about these things, and I have never heard.
It's one of the most famous 80s, 90s cartoons.
Well, obviously it's not.
No, obviously it is, and you're just wrong.
But you didn't live in the United States then.
No, it's an American show. Everyone knows
That's
the
what
Raccoons.
they told. I think they told you it was an American show, but Max, Tara, and I are American.
Yeah.
This
what was another
bullshit.
great show of the 80s? Foofer?
What? Yep.
Yeah.
Deeply familiar with Foofer.
God, Foofer was a mess.
He's a blue dog. He's
with
tired.
Red eyes. Blood red eyes.
He's very tired.
No, that was different from Rude Dog and the Dweebs.
Yes,
You're
that
making
was.
this up. You're making these shows up.
No, Rude Dog and the Dweebs is real.
See, I got backup on that one.
But no one watched it. I mean, it's very.
I used to watch it all the time. I think even as a kid, I used to seek out the stuff I knew would be obscure later on, just so I could mention them in podcasts.
You were pre-hipster.
I have Exo Squad on DVD because
That's pretty hipster.
People too.
That's severely cartoon hipster.
Well, I once sent a letter to Saturday Morning Ghost Train that never got read out, so...
I don't even know what that is. Whoa.
I used to watch Parallel 9 every Friday.
What?
Don't test me on this. Okay, as I said, we talk too much bollocks before we sell things.
Right.
So let's get back to the administration part of the show, which is the bit everyone's going to look forward to. There's only one bit of sort of business I want to talk about, which is I am in a video game now. So suck it. That's my official
playable character.
I'm a playable character.
Wait, aren't all of us gonna be in Retro City Rampage?
Yeah.
Don't take this from me.
Again, that was one of those things that we announced at the very end of a 2-hour podcast we were doing in a hotel room.
Yeah, this is different though because I'm actually a playable character.
Right, we are not playable in Retro City Rampage. We're you can get plastic surgery to look like us.
You look like you.
So how does that make us not playable characters?
That's even better.
Yeah, in a way, it's better. We're idols in the world of Retro City.
Yeah, the point is that I am in this one on my own. So fuck y'all. Okay, that is the point, and this came out first. Retro City Rampage isn't even out yet. You Retro City Rampage idiots. Right? I am in that as well, so that still makes me better. right? So let's talk about me.
And there's that thing, aren't you? Isn't there like a sterling reputation award you can win in some game where it's got a monocle? Remember that?
The guys who made Metro 2033, which was, quite a reasonably big game. It was on 360 PC and PS3 and all that. They're now claiming that they've got an achievement called, achievement trophy called Sterling Reputation, which they are now claiming is named after me. And I don't know if they're joking or not, because they seem kind of serious. And they did say they really loved me at E3, but that was after I did their sort of year-late review. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is trying to get me off the topic.
I'm just...
Have a good Willem Dafoe movie.
Trying to...
I'm sorry, Jim. Please tell us again. Are you in a video game or something? What's going on? I need the info.
Yeah, I am.
And isn't there a monocle named after you in like Rock Band or something?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this is like 4 games you're sort of in.
I'm well known about town. My standing in court has improved significantly, and the Queen shall invite me for toast.
I do feel like I'm with...
Why can't I get to a fucking point?
Oh, yeah, you can do it. I want to hear what you have to say, Jim.
With this podcast?
It's all that I want is to hear what you have to say next.
I just get like a fucking magpie. All of us, actually. I'm not taking all the flack for this. Nothing ever gets done. Okay. I'm in a video game. I made my appearance today. It became updated. It's on iTunes. It's 99 cents, so that's a steal. It's called The Blocks Cometh, and it's done by Halfbot. They're the guys who got ripped off. We're actually going to talk about this a little later, about iOS rip-offs and things. But they had their game, originally it was a Flash thing. It got stolen and put on iTunes by a different developer who just claimed it was theirs. And they took assets from another game and crammed them in. Destructoid sort of really jumped on it and fought and put the word out to get the game... taken off, to get the ripped off game removed from iTunes so they could put their official one up. And it worked, and Apple actually took it down. And Halfbot has always said that Destructoid was a big help with that, so they put Mr. Destructoid in the game about 2 months ago, and they finally unleashed their big update today with all sorts of extra content and add-ons and things, and put me in there. So I'm in there, I throw microphones at the blocks, like the Jimquisition. I got my little red tie, and my speed statistic is too high. Ha ha, Jim is fat. So that's a funny comment that everyone said. Well done, gold star for you. Have a banana. But yeah, go get it. It's actually a really good game. It's fucking hard, but it's a good game, and I enjoy it. And I played as myself, which is really freaky.
Yeah, I bet it is.
To actually play as yourself in a video game. So yeah, that's cool.
And the game, tell us how the game plays a little bit.
It's basically these blocks fall from the sky, and you have to avoid them while also climbing up them. It's like you're trapped in a Tetris game, and you have to keep climbing up the blocks to see how far you can go without getting crushed. And
can you control the blocks at all, or do you only control the little guy?
You only control the little guy. You jump and run and shoot at the blocks to destroy any if you get trapped. So yeah, it's a tricky game. But it's got the proper arcade challenge to it. So I think it's good, and you should get it because I'm in it. Okay, onward, please, to games of the week. And I'm going to start with, let's be arbitrary. Tara, what have you been playing?
What?
What?
I've been playing more Fallout New Vegas, obviously. Still not done yet. I guess that game's been out for almost a year now, so it doesn't matter if I say spoilers, right?
Oh,
no, you're fine.
Fuck them if they complain.
So I killed Mr. House, and I'm basically killing everybody now, and I'm going to take over the city myself, and that's my plan. So the game is going to take much longer than I was expecting to finish, but I'm okay with that. I also played a little bit of Torchlight. Got to play a little bit of Braid. And a little bit of N+, which I thought was worth mentioning since it's very similar to Meat Boy, and we're going to be talking about that later in today's episode.
How similar did you think it was to Meat Boy?
Not similar enough to be like suspicious in any way. It's just the gameplay is very similar. It's kind of like a mix between Meat Boy and Portal a little bit. Like,
I can see that.
A very simple version, you know.
In terms of puzzling through the rooms and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Since it involves a lot of strategy.
Because N Plus was actually a big influence on Super Meat Boy, and the ninja from N Plus is the last unlockable character in the 360 version of Super Meat Boy. So they definitely acknowledged the similarities there and the influence.
Yeah, it's fun. It's freaking hard, though.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Great.
Max.
Oh, okay.
What?
I'm excited. It's like you shrunk Jonathan Holmes and he's a mouse.
Is that what I sound like? Oh.
If you were tiny, you'd be the cutest. You'd be like, "Oh, hey guys, hey."
I become gay too when I'm tiny.
You're not gay. You're just tiny and a mouse.
I'm a little gay. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway,
I've also been playing New Vegas. I played until about 3:00 this morning. I haven't had a chance to play any games because I was in Arizona this last weekend and busy doing shit. I went to an event and I played some Russian games. I played oh god, I was so drunk. What are they called? It was the 1C event, this Russian company. And there's one that's like Wings of something, and you fly World War II planes. Sure. Now, the reason I don't remember the name of the game is because they had like a new AMD chipset demonstration where they had 6 monitors hooked up to one computer. And then they had the full like super realistic cockpit joystick throttle setup with the really fancy chair. And on top of that, there was a like 6-foot blonde wearing a Kill Bill jumpsuit giving me a back rub while I was drinking a cocktail. So I truly did feel like a gentleman adventurer while playing this game. So
what?
I was at the Russian embassy, okay?
So the Russians were like, we need Max Scoville to play our new like $1,000 setup of a cockpit of a game that no one's ever actually going to afford to buy for a game that he can't even remember the name of. That's how impressed he was. And we got to make sure that there's a woman rubbing him when he plays.
Oh no, it was dude, my life is a Bond flick sometimes, I swear to God. Like I'm sitting there and she's like giving me a back rub and I'm drinking this neon blue cocktail and I'm like doing like loop-de-loops and just shooting aimlessly, and there's all these Nazi jets flying around and they're like, "Are you going to hit those?" And I'm like, "I'm quite all right, thank you." And the girl leans down and she goes into my ear, "I'm a spy." And then afterwards, I was like, "My goodness, that was quite a lot of fun. Does the girl come with it?" And she goes, "Oh yes, I come with every package." And I go, "Ah!"
Whoa! Dang. And then Ed McMahon was like, "Hey-o!"
And then Hamza was like, "I want to take a picture with her." So I introduced him as Hamilton.
What is it with Hamilton?
I love it. I introduce him as Hamilton to these really tall girls, and he's like, "No, that's not my name."
He gets really annoyed if you take liberties with his name. I remember when I first started working here, I started referring to him as Hammy Ham Ham, and he didn't like it. He said, "Don't call me Hammy Ham Ham."
I used to call him Ham
Dexter,
Sandwich.
Ham Sandwich? Oh, God.
Ham Sandwich.
Oh, God.
Oh, let's see.
His last name was Ndwich?
Yeah.
My buddy Dexter met him at some party we went to together, and the whole time Dexter was just like, "The ham! It's the ham!"
Oh, he must have hated that so much.
It was so funny to look at.
Because he doesn't eat pig meat in any way, and he's like, "Don't even talk about pigs around me." So then you call him Ham, and he's just so sad about his life.
Dude, he's eaten bacon before. I've seen it.
Whoa, he changed his tune on me, Hamza.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he totally has. He ate it at the Detroit house.
Do not rat him out to Vishnu.
I don't think it's something that he does regularly.
Unbelievable. That is ignorant of his culture and
Yeah, we know he worships Gozer, okay?
making fun of Buddhists.
So are these Russians, or are they the same ones that did World of Tanks? Those are the only Russian game developers I know. World of Tanks.
No, I don't think so.
These are other Russians. Wow.
They did Red Orchestra.
What?
Which they were, Red Orchestra. I think it's Symphony of Orchestras or Red something. I don't know.
Is that good?
It's okay.
Another ant! I am not joking.
God damn it.
One has not appeared since we last recorded. I whack out the Gatorade and one appears.
Huh, it's the vibrations.
I swear, they want my X Factor Fruit Punch and Berry Gatorade. Available at all good stores like Kroger.
Oh yeah, that store in the south you go to.
Yeah.
Kroger?
That's terrifying. Yeah, Kroger.
Oh, that place sucks. It does.
So speaking of ants, I've been playing a lot of New Vegas, which I love. I love Fallout so much. Like, Fallout is my favorite game. That's just it. I'm so happy with it. I have so much fun. That's why I don't play other games, because I just fucking love Fallout. Like, let's see. I think I was like, I think I went up like 5 levels last night. I'm like level 7 now. I was like, I'd done like 2 quests when I started last night. And I mean, I don't know if that's a lot, but it was, I played like a good like 4.5 hours straight last night because I just really wanted to. And my girlfriend was mad at me because I was just sitting there being like, killing ants. Just killing ants. Big ants though.
Huh.
I'm excited by the new monsters in New Vegas, and I'm such an idiot because I'm so out of touch. Like, hey guys, let's talk about a game that came out fucking 3 years ago. But the what are they? Tara, you know what I'm talking? The Night Stalkers, the ones that are like rattlesnake hyenas. Oh, they're so good. They're so funny.
You know what? For their size, they're surprisingly easy to kill.
What? No, I'm talking about they're like the dog rattlesnakes that are like running at you and being like, there's just like packs of them.
Wait, are you talking
they're
about
so horrible.
New Vegas? Are you talking about New Vegas or Fallout 3?
I'm talking about New Vegas.
Huh.
They're like dogs.
I think they are called. I think they're called Night Stalkers. I do know exactly what you mean. I cannot remember their exact name, but you may be right there.
Tara is like, if there was an animal trivia show in Fallout, she would lose.
Well, the thing is,
they're called Night Stalkers. You know what? Because I just Googled it, but I've actually haven't seen these in the game before, which is really weird.
It is
You're
really
pretty
weird.
far along.
There's a lot of areas of the map, though, that I haven't explored yet.
I think Tara got confused because there are Nightkin as well. The blue super mutants.
Oh yeah, I remember those. That's the one that like turns invisible and like kills cows because he's crazy.
He's one of them. Yeah, well, I mean,
that.
all the Nightkin are insane because of the stealth units they have on.
That's so cool. I want to work on one of those games. Like, I would love to do like Fallout Connecticut or something. Like, oh my god. Like, I mean, I was out in Connecticut and there are animals there that like I forget aren't animals that people know about. Like coy dogs, which are half coyote, half dog, and they just look like evil dogs.
Yeah.
And they have literally attacked my friend's house, and his dad had to go out and shoot bottle rockets at them to scare them away.
They just attacked like the side of the house, right?
They were just like fucking running around and being like, woo, woo, woo. They sound like evil like ghost hyenas, but they like, one of them was a big poofy white dog, and we're like, that might be a ghost werewolf. It's very possible. And then there are Hellgrammites, which are, Google these motherfuckers, Hellgrammites, spelled sort of how it sounds, but they're like, picture a large aquatic centipede that's from Mordor, and you're there. That's what they're like, about 3 inches long. They have pincers that are about half an inch long, and just spikes all over them, and they're black. Just evil black armored things. They're hideous.
Sounds awful. Yeah. They're in Connecticut?
Yeah, you find them under rocks. I used to catch them and sell them to people from New York for money. It was great.
Why did people from New York want them?
For fly fishing.
Oh, okay. So
they're
certain fish want to eat them. Oh, I bet the fish like them.
Shit is
I would love to be a consultant for like Fallout New England. You know, that'd be so much fun. I'd love it. You know, just coy dogs and Hellgrammites.
I actually would. I've imagined this before. Talking of England, I would actually like a Fallout set in Britain, but onto the like where culture didn't move on from the 50s in Fallout. I would like Britain, but where culture didn't move on from the 60s.
Huh, okay.
Ooh, that would be good.
But that's so happy. 60s were pretty happy, right? In Britain? Happy Britain?
I don't know, I wasn't there, mate.
No, it'd be mods and rockers.
Pretty sure,
everywhere.
yeah. I thought they felt pretty good in the 60s. Feel good.
Nuclear
I can
bombs
see, like-
dropped on them.
What about like World
What?
War One British Fallout? That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. A lot of
You get the doughboy helmets and stuff.
Confidentially. Like that.
I see, this mustache gives me a +2 to perception.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We've done those tones with each other. We've taken that tone, that old British tone. We pretend like we know, but we don't. We're not British.
Cool story, bro. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I did it again.
Anything else, Max?
No. Not really, no. I'm gonna go
play
buy
that. You're gonna play that EDF? You like killing those ants, Max?
Hamza said he was gonna give me that. Actually, he said
Oh,
that. Like, yes, I want that game so much. I want to play that game with Mr. Andy Dixon and I think Rex Wolf. I think we discussed that in the comments that we're all gonna be fucking bros and we're just gonna get jetpacks and fucking kill bugs together.
Sounds good. We played it last year together in that weird
Yep.
hotel layer. They had the cheese. Yeah. Beers and cheese and EDF.
Lunch beers and cheese plates.
We were so tired. They just drove us to that hotel. We just had to go in there. You did some video, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, I like
That's
those
when I was
days.
like a shadow operative for Podtoid. Like I just did some random videos here and there, and no one knew who the fuck I was. I was just this guy. Like
there was no expectations. You just like showed up and did a thing, and people were like, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah, but I'm probably going to go and go to GameStop with a bunch of games that I don't like anymore, and I'm going to sell them for money, and I'm going to get, if possible, Saints Row 2, and I'm going to play the shit out of that because I really, really am looking forward to Saints Row 3. I went on my little nerd rant about how excited I was for that. That's officially tied with Skyrim for me right now.
Really? That's pretty high up there.
Uh-huh. And I talked about that on the show yesterday, and Tara had to calm me down. But I got a message on Twitter from Jeff Hanna, who's the senior technical artist for Volition, and he was like, "Hey, thanks." I actually met him at E3, and it was one of those times when I was introduced as this guy who hates Gears of War, and then we wound up talking about like how games should be funnier for like half an hour. So he was like, "Hey, thanks for that." I was like, "Thank you for making a game that has dildos in it, dude. Like, don't thank me. Thank you."
Volition are lovely. I know a couple of people there, and they're just... I don't think I've met anyone from Volition who is a dick. I don't think it's possible. I think they have a strict no-dick policy. No dicks are in those Volition offices. You can go in there and say, "Is there a penis in here?" No.
Unless it's a big purple floppy one.
Yeah, unless it's... Oh, Montgomery! Oh, you're so whimsical this evening.
You've gotten into the cooking sherry again, haven't you? Oh, what a card.
Oh, I dare say Meredith is in for a feisty treat this evening.
Is that the case? I tried.
I imagine you'll be wanting to stick it up her arse this evening.
Whoa, it's those kind of gentlemen, eh? Yikes.
I'm going out back and watch the stable boy a good Roger.
Oh, we are gentlemen to the outside world, but behind closed doors we are ravenous beasts, sir!
I have to pee.
Bunch of teenagers today, we are the lead.
Tara Long is about to go urinate! I'm going to think of that and come off in my hand! Ah!
Oh. Wow. Yes. We are those guys.
Oh, I'm so amused. Oh, poor Tara Long, and I can't stop thinking about her pissing now.
I'm back. I miss.
How did you do that?
Nothing really.
If you're back that quickly, you missed everything. I don't think you got a single drop in the bowl.
You have no idea how closely to my toilet I record Podtoid.
Are you sat on it?
No.
They should just
Not-
call it
not
Podtoid.
At the current moment.
Oh,
Oh,
Pod toilet.
chamber pot.
One of them.
Pop culture
you've left a deposit in the chamber pot.
Don't bother emptying the cherry. I shall deal with it privately in my chambers this evening.
Oh,
Oh, God. I'm so happy.
you really are. I could tell from the moment you first spoke to me today.
It's been a good day. It's been a good day.
That's
Which
great.
is funny, because I was up at 3 a.m. hallucinating about Voldemort and thinking I was going to be sick.
That's what the Brits do, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like my wife has started making me watch the Harry Potter films. So I watched the first 2 so far, and I'll probably watch the 3rd tonight. So I keep waking up in hallucinations thinking I'm Voldemort. Okay, Jonathan Holmes, what have you been playing?
I was on a podcast by Detroit staff and readers called Nostalgia Journey, and it was about Resident Evil 2, so I had to play Resident Evil 2 some more. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to go back to that one, honestly. I also played some Darkside Chronicles, which retells Resident Evil 2, except as on-rails shooter. That's more fun for me at this point, so that felt good. And some DSi puzzly games like Mighty Flip Champs. Played the Flip Champs. I like it. I think that was it. I want to watch Alan Quatermain and the Lost Cities of Gold now. Have you guys seen that? Let's watch that.
No.
Let's watch it. Come on, let's watch it. Come on. Let's watch it. Let's watch the movie. Come on, let's watch it.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the guys who do
Are you watching it?
Nostalgia Journey. They got in touch with me. I haven't. Ry Guy.
Uh-huh.
Is it Ry Guy? The community guy who does the yeah.
Uh-huh.
He got in touch with me. I haven't gotten
That's
a chance to write him back, but he wants to do one with Duke Nukem 3D for me, which I'll do.
Oh yeah, they did
here
enjoy
first.
that. It's an interesting podcast because there's like 5 or 6 people on it,
Oh,
and
boy,
one
that
guy
sounds
is
like
named but one guy Mitch just doesn't talk at all. Yeah, and I feel sad for him. Nostalgia Journey.
Oh.
It's a journey of nostalgia back in the day. Yeah.
We used to have when I used to do a podcast for Destructoid. It was one of the billion fucking podcasts we've done. We used to have community members on. They wouldn't talk. They just sit there. I just want to listen to you. Well, you can fucking do that on your own time, mate.
I think the guys in the chat in Outer Heaven are going to try and get one going, which would be interesting because they're a neat crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been meaning to get on there, but
Do it.
was under the gun. I'm always under the gun.
No, you're not.
See, in Alan Quatermain in the Lost Cities of Gold, the guy who plays Darth Vader has a battle axe, so it's kind of
David
like...
Prowse.
No, the one who does the voice. The black man.
James Earl Jones.
That's the one. And he's like, "Ooh, yes, Alan," and then just like beheads a guy.
Jesus, that's racist.
Yeah, it's really good.
Alan Quatermain's pretty racist, though. I mean, that's
what's so good about it. And if we were Alan Quatermain team, I'd want Jim to be Alan. Tara could be the beautiful woman. I could be James Earl Jones. And Max, you could be the skeevy little guy who wants the money.
Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it.
I like that.
Wait,
You guys watch that movie. I'm serious.
Wait, is it Alan Quatermain? Is there? I know there's one. It's by the same guy who wrote those books. And there's something where it's like there's the guy who just goes around and he always has sex with like the native princess, and he bangs her, and he's like really good in a fight. And he's got this sidekick who's sort of like Dr. Watson, except he's just like really quiet. But then he turns out to be like the fucking sharpshooter, like the best shot in the world.
Wow,
that sounds really good. I don't know what that is, but
Will get real. I don't know. My dad reads all these weird old books that are like leather bound and.
Max, that would be an excellent character for you, but you are skeevy money rat, so.
He's really good. He's like, "Is it gold in here? Where's it gold?
Like
oh, Alan." Yeah, it's really good.
That's Morocco Mole.
Yeah, it's basically Morocco Mole. Except he's got a turban. It's good. Watch the movie. Serious. James Earl Jones is his best role.
Yeah, sounds racist. I can't be doing much of that.
His best role is the redubbing of Star Wars using all the other clips from his movies, where he's like, "I'm taking your mother out to dinner tonight. I'm gonna show her a good time.
Gonna go on a date." That is
good.
an excellent video.
Before I forget, as far as we're recommending things, Jim, everyone needs to see this. It's called Wizard People Dear Readers, and it's a voice track you play over the first Harry Potter movie that reads like a book on tape, and it's the funniest I've ever seen. I love it so much.
They were doing that live for a while.
Yeah, Brad Neely. And it's just he just changes everything, and he changes the names. Like Hagrid is Hagar the Horrible, and Malfoy is Mouth Oil, and it doesn't make any sense. He changes the complete story, and there's parts where he's not even describing what's happening in the movie. But before you die, inevitably, you need to see this. Everyone.
Did they do all the books?
Harry Potter.
Just the first one. I don't care if you hate Harry Potter. It's funny.
It's actually better if you hate Harry Potter. I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter.
It made me like Harry Potter more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good one.
Yeah. So do that.
All right. So have we been at it for an hour yet?
No. This call's only been going 46 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't talked about video games.
I'm talking about fucking shit, mate. I played the Catherine demo.
Oh, that's out today.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all.
How come? Too puzzly?
Oh, a load of shit. It's.
Do you like Hubert though? Because I like Hubert a lot.
I can distance myself and say I can see how it's like rap music. I can see how some would like it, and I respect what went into it, but it to me is unpalatable and makes me want to do a sick into a little bag. It's a thing. I mean, it reminds me of that IQ game on the PlayStation 1.
I think I like that game.
Everyone had a demo of.
Oh, was that the one where you're the cubes?
Yes.
Uh-huh. What was that called? Was that?
I think it was just called IQ.
iCubes.
IQ.
I totally remember that. I couldn't remember the name of it, and it fascinates me because my friend had a demo of it.
Well, it reminds me of that insofar as the setup. They actually play out quite differently. It's definitely a hard game. It's not the kind of hard I like, because it's just... I mean, Vincent, the character, controls like shit, and you're expected to rush up this pyramid of cubes and pull blocks and everything. I mean, like, people don't like block puzzles. They complain about them all the time in video games. And here is a game that is 100% block puzzles, and everyone's coming over it. And
they're not, though. There's a very vocal minority that's pretending they like it, and then they actually won't buy it when it comes out because they don't really want to do Cubert with tits. Isn't that what you called it?
I called it Cubert with tits. It's not quite that, but
there aren't even tits, are there? It's like...
There's the illusion of tits.
There's implied sexiness, but it's not, it's not like a hentai game or anything like that. It's, it's salacious, but not quite gentleman's relish. So
it's more about being sad that you're cheating on your girlfriend.
Something like that. Like, it's so fucking... The cutscenes did nothing for me. The characters are so, like, just archetypal anime guys. You've got the loser character and his overactive friend, and then the cool, collected one who, is slightly more mature than all the others. It seems very archetypal and really split up. Like, the cutscenes and the gameplay aren't even welded together. They're just sat next to each other on a shelf that's too small for them, and so you very clearly go from I am watching an anime to I am playing a puzzle game, watching an anime, playing a puzzle game. The two things don't really go together, that was the one thing I was worried about the most. So yeah, just I can utterly see how some would be fascinated by it and think that's the best thing they've ever played, but not for me, sir. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people who do not like it.
Yeah, I think that's already been the case. A lot of people are disappointed. But then there's those few that it just is perfect for their brain.
The early trailer for that made it look like a very, very interesting game. It looked like a dating sim survival horror with some puzzle elements.
Yeah, before they showed the gameplay, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, like anime, like puzzly dating Silent Hill game. Cool,
Yeah.
I could do that. And now it's like I just lost interest. Like
There's
I
a
don't know.
reason why for the first few months of the game they didn't tell us what it was.
Yeah.
They just said, here is a woman, she's got tits. Like our game, please. That was basically the promotion for the first few months, and then they showed us gameplay screens, and we were like,
Oh,
hey.
yeah. Well, they don't actually have any money, those guys. They're pretty poor. This is their first HD game, and what? PS3 and 360 have been around for 5 years, and they've finally saved up enough money to make an HD game, but all they could afford to do is Qbert. It's sad. Yeah. Hopefully they'll make their money back in their next
They should have
game.
put something on the Wii, it would sell just as much.
Yeah, I know, but nobody thinks that anymore. The Wii has such a stigma about it. Even though it's cheap to develop for, people are like, oh, you'll make no money back, and people will make fun of you, and blah, 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 so don't put your games on it.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. I played Bastion as well, but I can't really talk about that one.
Are you reviewing it?
I'm reviewing that.
Oh, okay.
So that's an interesting RPG that I really want to talk about. I have so much to say.
Really?
But I can't. But if you hang around any number of Waffle Houses in Mississippi, you might see me like waddle in. So just catch me then and say, what's Bastion like? And I'll tell you off the record.
Off the record, is it like Chrono Trigger at all? Would you give it a Chrono Triggery?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not even a little? Not even a little bit? Well. Oh well. That's how people try to sell me on it.
Based on preview gameplay
Uh-huh.
from a preview that other people have played, I'd say it's got more to do with things like Islands of Whack Fu than Chrono Trigger. Have you heard of Islands of Whack Fu?
Oh, sure have.
Okay.
I interviewed the French man about it. And there were some teenage girls jumping around, too.
Well, there you go. I mean, and I'm saying that not based off my review copy, just for legal purposes.
That's another
That is preview
you read.
stuff.
Yeah, Samit previewed it at PAX, and he
a lot of
freaked out.
people have seen early things and freaked out about it.
Yeah.
All I'll say is, wait for my review.
Okay, sounds good.
Just wait for my review, and I'll say that about anything because
That's
my
in
opinion
that's in
matters.
Summer of Arcade, isn't it?
It was last year,
yeah.
I think.
Bastion. I mean,
Bastion,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
It was
Okay.
in the PAX 10 last year.
It's hard to tell because Microsoft's totally fucked it up this year. There's some
Yeah, they
games
did.
that just aren't coming out for it or are, and like no one knows. From what I've heard, developers aren't too
Part of it,
pleased.
though.
Huh?
I know for sure Bastion was part of Summer
Oh,
Arcade.
Well, it's supposed to be, but then they screw it up sometimes.
well, so was Missplosion Man, and I thought
Well,
Renegade Ops
Missplosion
was.
Man
Retro
was
City
too, but-
Rampage. I really want Renegade Ops. Like, I want it. The thing I hate about Microsoft with the Live Arcade stuff is like they don't give solid release dates. Like, you'll talk to the developers, and you're like, so when's this coming out? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's up
We
to
don't-
those
we don't-
guys.
They don't tell us yet. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
okay, well, what week should I have $10 to spare? Like, that's kind of what I want to know.
Nintendo does the same thing. They change it. I've actually had developers tell me every week for 2 months that their game is coming out that week, and then they find out it's changed. So yeah, they sad. They bad.
lol, Nintendo.
I really,
Yeah.
really want Renegade Ops. When I pictured this summer, like when I pictured it a long time ago, I mean, not maybe like a month ago or something, I just imagined myself sitting in my apartment, possibly wearing shorts, maybe a Hawaiian shirt, playing Renegade Ops, and having all my windows open, and it being very cool, or very, very like summery and lovely, and maybe having like a tropical drink or something, maybe deviled eggs. And guess what? San Francisco is foggy, it's fucking cold, I'm actually cold right now, and Renegade Ops isn't fucking out, so Microsoft could eat my ass or dick or something. I don't
Or
I'm
Dick,
mad
or
about
something.
Why is that the type of game that you want to wear a Hawaiian shirt to play anyway?
It's a tropical game. You're driving a Jeep around in a jungle and blowing stuff up.
Yeah, it's like a feel-good RC Pro-Am in a way.
It makes me think. I think it was the summer of '95. I played the shit out of Urban Strike, and it makes me think of that.
Is that in a Jeep? Is that a Jeep
No, that's
game?
in a helicopter. That's like Jungle
Oh.
Strike.
Oops, my mistake.
Apparently everybody played like Desert Strike or Jungle Strike, but I was all about Urban Strike, which, oh, by the way, most of the time you're in a jungle or a desert, so it doesn't really make a difference. But,
That's pretty funny.
yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, before we get into the real talk, There's some games I might buy. Should I buy them? Because this hasn't been the real talk. This has been the off-the-record talk. Should I buy Sonic Unleashed for $10? Saw it. Jim?
When was Sonic ever on a leash? Like, was he like a retarded pet hedgehog at one point?
Maybe.
I could probably dig up some fan fiction.
Should I buy it for $10? I saw it today. I saw Sonic Unleashed for $10. I saw Force Unleashed 2 for $10, both on the Wii. And I saw that Case West is going to be 400 Microsoft points, Dead Rising 2. I can't decide if I should buy them. You guys you want to weigh in on that?
I cannot speak of the Wii version of Unleashed. I was actually going to buy that this week.
Wait,
I heard it was pretty good. Yeah.
This is confusing. Too many things on leashes.
Sorry, that's true. They are. That was a big thing. For a while, every game had to have the word dead in it. And then they were like, everything's got to be Unleashed, Force Unleashed, Sonic Unleashed. And now it's like all about... what's it about now? Chronicles?
Oh, it's always been about Chronicles.
Oh, that's true. It's always...
That's an evergreen one, that one.
Shadows, maybe?
Shadows is a good one, yeah.
Love those Shadows.
I want to play
Dead.
House of the Rising Island or Alive.
Dead Shadows.
With Sonic Unleashed, I will say buy it, play as far as the Spagonia level,
Okay.
get to the level called Rooftop Run, and just play that one and play that one and play that one and play that one until you think you've had $10 worth.
Okay. $10 worth? Okay. And Sonic Unleashed, Force Unleashed. That's $10?
I have no idea about that one. I played the first 10 minutes of it and then got instantly bored.
Yeah. I'll just buy it. What the hell?
I'm so sad for Star Wars games. They used to be so
I know,
good.
right? I know.
Like,
it's sad.
I like Star Wars a whole lot, and it's like the movies aren't good anymore, and the games aren't really good anymore. And there's that stupid cartoon about Clone Wars, and I don't really like that so much, so I can't even buy cool action figures that much, but yeah.
It might be that you grew out of Star Wars a little bit.
No, I did not.
You might have. You still like the Star Wars that takes you back to being a kid, but Star Wars,
Okay,
you might kind of...
I got a question.
Yes,
Why
please.
has there never been a game where you play as Boba Fett?
Oh, there is. Boba Fett.
No, there isn't. No, that's Jango Fett.
Oh, you're right. That's Jango Fett. My bad. Sorry, girl.
It's a fancy asshole in purple and brushed nickel. No, I was just thinking about it. That could be a good game that they could do right now, and it would just be great. It could be like a Boba Fett game where you just Boba Fett. You go around. It could be like a bounty hunter game. That is the simplest possible setup for a plot. You're a bounty hunter. You have to kill the bad guys or catch them, whichever. I want Prey 2, Boba Fett.
I'd buy that. Good thinking. I love it.
Yeah, right?
Hi guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Where's Jim Sterling? Jim Sterling's weird.
What?
He's happy and then he just disappeared. You're gone.
I'm here.
Go away.
You're
back.
I was letting you talk.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Is it time for the real topics? Should we do real topics now? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I love...
Yeah.
Oh god, real topics?
Yeah, let's get real.
Yeah. We've actually got 3 and a load of questions, so we really should be, hurrying up, rather than just sitting here going, at each other. Let's start with EA's Origin. We don't have to spend too long on this. I don't want to talk about it too much, because I've talked about it all the time. I did an article on Gamefront today called Why EA's Origin Can Eat Shit. So, that's where I am on the situation.
So what do they think people are gonna like about it? What do they think is they're gonna motivate and excite people and get them talking and get them loyal?
I don't think they care. I don't think they thought about that.
So they're just we can do a thing, so let's do it.
Basically. For those who haven't been following, EA unleashed its own digital download platform. You know how everyone has Steam and thinks Steam is good? EA thought we'd want another one of those, but shit. So it released Origin.
EA games, right?
Yeah, it released Origin, which is now the only place, what they're hoping will eventually become the only place to get Electronic Arts games. So as well as running Steam, you have to run this second program with another account on it to download things like Mass Effect and Battlefield and all that shite. So,
Wait, you need Steam and Origin in order to do
well, you'd have Steam to get, like, all the other games in the world.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
you need Origin to get Battlefield 3. So, unless, of course, you buy it on console or get a physical version, because EA can't actually offer any exclusives on its stupid fucking service, no matter how much it takes away from Steam. So, yeah.
I'd like to point.
This would have gone over so much better if they had offered some kind of incentive for people to actually use it, other than the fact that they have to.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem here. It's that they haven't offered anything. They've just taken stuff away from others, and that's not really an offer.
This is exactly what I was saying about how, like, it's not so much competition; it's just it's one-upmanship. You know the wheel. You guys know the wheel.
I've seen it.
The things
I've
on
seen
cars.
the
Look
Yeah.
at the Origins logo. It is literally a reinvention of the wheel.
Whoa!
Let's take a wheel and then put some stupid fins on it, so it sort of looks like a Portal, which is available on Steam, our competitor.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, it is basically a company who wants more control and doesn't want to offer us anything to get that control, but it wants us to do all the legwork of downloading a new platform and running a second bit of software and having a special proprietary account. It's like EA is the only thing that gets any benefit out of us, but we're the fuckers expected to put the work into getting all this shit off the ground. And I'm sat here wondering, like, what is the incentive here? I'm not going to download Origin. I'm not going to have another bloated thing, especially with a company famous for sticking malware into its games, like Securom, which is glorified malware. Just all this DRM shit. I'm not going to download a proprietary download service from EA, of all fucking companies. Especially when I could either get it on console or I could get a hard copy PC version. Like, taking stuff off Steam isn't going to stop me playing your games. I'm just going to go elsewhere. I refuse. Origin is the straw that broke the camel's back. I have so many accounts with so many places. I have so many fucking companies wanting me to run their own proprietary things because they're so fucking greedy and selfish, and insecure that they demand customer loyalty to be, like, reaffirmed with them every time you want to play a new game. I'm not doing it.
It's also kind of a sensitive time to be asking people to create more login accounts and stuff with so many hacks recently.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and pissing off gamers, if the past 2 or 3 months have shown anything, it's that's not really a good thing to do, especially right now.
I'd like to jump on one thing. Like, LulzSec isn't around. They've retired or been arrested or whatever it was they were doing.
They basically joined forces with Anonymous.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of annoyed because they were going after, like, the PSN, which is, it's not like, it's a service. It's people use it. That was kind of annoying. Why couldn't they have saved it for this? Like, not to be petty, but and then on top of that, we've got one of our next topics, the whole Kathie Lee Gifford thing, saying that, gamers over 30 are weird. Like,
are we going to talk about that?
I hope so, because, I mean...
we are going to talk about that. I mean, are we all done kicking the shit out of Origin?
I just want to say, like, these are two very, very good targets. If you're just going to go and fuck up someone's website and just tear their shit apart and, like, make everyone mad at them for losing their data and just make things bad and just blah, just do it to someone who deserves it. Like, I'm sorry,
that is a common
They were mad at Sony about something specific, but Sony Sony did some stuff, but at the same time,
so many people use it too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, you can make that argument all the time. It's like, why do this to Origin or Kathie Lee Gifford when you can do it to racists and homophobes and all that sort of thing? And I mean, they do that. Like, Anonymous famously fucked with the Phelps clan for a good while, which was a jolly good laugh.
The swimmer? Michael Phelps?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
No, they didn't. They didn't fuck with him. That's the thing, is that the Phelps clan was trying to make it look like they did, or they did.
They did eventually. They tried to blame Anonymous, and then Anonymous was like, "Well, we'll give you something to blame us for," and then they went and fucked their shit up. There's a very nice radio interview in which, like, the haggard gargoyle daughter of Fred Phelps is having an interview on a radio show with a guy from Anonymous. who, while they're talking, is like, well, I've just hacked your website if you want to click on it, while they were doing the interview.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's on YouTube.
Huh? Does the guy have a voice distorter on so he can't?
No,
be
no,
found?
he's just talking as himself, just a northern lad from England.
Really? I would have totally used a voice distorter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, for as talented a hackers they were, they didn't go through a lot of identity protection
They
measures.
don't need to. In that instance, they didn't need to. They wisely use people from other countries a lot of the time to talk to, depending on the situation. I mean, the guy had nothing to really worry about. Just having an accent, it's in a different country would be difficult to trace. But anyway,
What just happened? Somebody blend something suddenly? It's like, I gotta blend this right now. Podcast be damned.
Anyway,
What?
we're getting off the topic. The point is,
I'll never know. Did you
Yeah,
guys hear that blender?
what?
You didn't hear the blender?
Yes, Holmes. Let's tell you what. Let's all stop the podcast to look at Holmes's fucking blender, shall we? What was your favourite bit about the blender, Jonathan? I liked the bit where it made a noise and destroyed the podcast's flow, and I tried to carry on, but then we couldn't. We fucking couldn't, could we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad. I feel bad for myself now.
Well, because you said "sorry" in that funny way, you're forgiven.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to Kathie Lee Gifford then. Kathie Lee Gifford, who used to definitely knowingly run a sweatshop, allegedly, and had lots of plastic surgery, has called people who play video games, if they are over 30, weird. She did this with her co-host on NBC's Today Show, The Other View. I forget the other name of the other one, Blockty Flobbed, or some stupid fucking...
Is the show really called The Other View?
That's what the video made it say.
Whoa,
and they
what a
were
terrible name.
interviewing, what was it, Donnie Douche or something?
Yeah,
Donnie
Donnie Douche.
Donnie Douche, Flibbity Flop Flop, and Kathie Lee Gifford, who ended the interview by all joining her hands and singing "Kumbaya, Melody, Kumbaya," which was weird in and of itself.
Did she really?
Yeah,
He's not making that up.
they all
Whoa.
joined hands because they all agreed on something. Now, yeah, I loved Kathie Lee because what happened, if you haven't heard of this, a viewer sent in a message to the show saying, is it acceptable or normal for a guy who's over 30 years old to be playing video games? To wit, Kathie Lee Gifford responded with the most amazing, in-depth, thought-provoking response I've ever heard. She said, and I quote, "No, that's weird. Xbox." Well done, Kathie.
Xbox? You just said the word.
She said, "No, that's weird." There was a pause, and then she said Xbox.
Okay, that's the depth of her knowledge.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Was she starting to say something else, or
Nope, she just said Xbox. I think it was.
Xbox.
I think it was like her 80-year-old bright. She's about 80, and she trying to think of words that she has heard children on the street say. And she was like, "Oh, what was it that fucking street urchin said the other day? Xbox. That was it. That thing I heard back in 2002."
Huh. It's really strange to me because video games are officially old. Donkey Kong, I think, just turned 30.
Yeah.
And if you watch shows for people who are over 30, they like video games. Like, what's her name there? Dances around. Ellen DeGeneres. She was saying it's on like Donkey Kong every other show for like a month.
A lot of adults enjoy games, so I mean, we all know that. We don't really need to argue against it. What is that fucking noise now?
I'm sorry. There's a thing in my house.
Jesus fucking Christ! Well,
What's-
give me a microphone,
There's
Sorry.
a thing in his
Okay,
house.
it's gone.
Max Scoville.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Little
God,
boy.
everyone hates me on this fucking podcast.
I love you a lot. What's on your house? What's the thing?
Okay, you know how I'm always getting deliveries of weird shit, and it's like
Always
like,
when we're recording the podcast.
it's like living in Tetris. I swear to God, there are just these boxes coming in all the time, and it's a tiny place, and it's filling up, and I have to clear them out as fast as I can. I'm not even kidding. My girlfriend ordered a large fishing tackle box and a laser printer. Like, I don't know.
Why?
Those are like the biggest things you can order on
You don't
Amazon.
even have a computer, but she needed a fishing tackle box and a laser printer?
Those can be used to store makeup, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
She's got dental
Touché.
schools, these weird little tools and things, but I guess you guys are getting some cool coloring pages that I'm going to send you with my LaserJet printer because it doesn't print. Color it itself.
It doesn't print color?
No, it's a black and white laser printer. Anyway, back to fucking asshole lady.
Jesus H. Corbett. I want to actually quote Donnie Douche as to the thing, and the other woman's name is Hoda Kotb, by the way.
It's a woman?
Hoda Kotb, which is funny because that sounds like a species of Japanese fish, and she looks like a species of Japanese fish, which is amazing. Like the surgery on their faces, because I actually ended my article on the subject. I said, nice to see that these people have attitudes that match their faces. The faces under all the plastic, which I thought was a great line, because they're old, lol. Anyway, Donnie Douche said, who looks a bit like Kenneth Branagh crossbred with a prick, said, in answer to the question, no, the answer's no. When you're in your 30s, there should be something more on your mind, your attention, than video games. Okay. And Kotber...
Huh, okay.
And then Kotber said, what about those weird ones in the basement?
I thought that part was pretty funny.
Kathie Lee Gifford then gave permission, which was very kind of her, for us to play video games if we're playing them with our children. She said, if you're playing it with your children, then I, Kathie Lee Gifford, grant thee permission to play video games. So,
I'm furious that these people get paid to do this.
To talk
to like have opinions about. I mean, I guess you could say the same about us. But we don't get paid that much. We do have a lot of people criticizing us on the internet, but these people have like. There are lots of people who listen to them and pay attention to them. I think we should burn down their fucking houses. Just saying that. Fuck hacking their websites. No, Tara had a great suggestion the other day. It was something about putting someone in an aquarium to drown them, and I was like, and then set the aquarium on fire afterwards.
So they boil and drown combo?
No, you feed them to sharks, and then you burn the sharks down. Like, fuck them. Just...
Burn
Sorry, I'm really mad. I'm not even 30. I'm in the clear. I'm not weird.
No, you're normal.
Well, I mean, not only are we in the clear, like, it's also part of our jobs to play and talk about video games. So
yeah, but what a weird job to pick.
You know, I mean, it's the same. It's like their job is sitting on their fucking asses talking shit about things they don't know. So they're allowed.
Their audience. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Their audience will positively respond. I mean, their job, in order for them to continue to get paid... And,
well, of course, because frustrated old women are their audience. The ones who still think of games as, you know, they're playing their Nintendo. Oh. You know, like that.
That's what they think their audience is going to think. I wonder with how many middle-aged women love Bejeweled and Facebook games and whatnot. Well, I wonder how many of them are going to turn on them for this.
Well, this is the thing. I doubt they count that. I bet they think, well, that's different. It's like when my mum used to have a go at me for using the internet a lot. She used to go, oh, you're on the internet all the time. I'm like, you watch television 12 hours a day, woman. And somehow that's different because television was around before the internet. Ergo, you can just sit there, like, feeling your anus get swallowed by your own cheeks. Mother.
Wow.
But
actually, that was inspiring. Yeah, that was
while
great.
we were recording, funny thing, a fella called Michael emailed me
with the wings,
a picture of Kathie Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb with Wii remotes in their hands, playing the Wii on the Today Show.
God.
And just saying, you know, there she is being disgusted by adults playing video games.
I wonder if they count. I know a lot of old people that are like, I hate video games, but I Wii And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not a verb. And they're like, no, it is. I wee at night. I'm like, oh.
Well, they're about 18
Probably
years
why you
old.
got those rubber sheets, you little shit.
But, you know, we've got
That'd be
Kathie
sad.
Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb, fucking 90 years old, the pair of them, combined age of 1,000. And they're playing the Wii. And, like, it is amazing the duality, just the rampant hypocrisy of people that play Wii and Angry Birds and all this stuff. And they're like, video games are for losers and people in basements. And it's like, how many people actually live in basements? Not many. Not only on TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
What
any
qualification
personally.
do these people have to be giving advice anyway? Like,
Yeah.
Well, they're
Kathie
very
Lee-
likable.
Okay, well, she's been on TV for fucking, several thousand years. Okay, like she's that Logan's Run jam in her hand started glowing and she ignored it a long time ago. But like, I want
to know.
Like Dr. Phil. Okay, I mean, I get that. Dr. Phil.
He's
that's
not a real
great.
doctor.
It's not a doctor. No.
I don't care. At least he built his reputation on giving advice. This bitch got to like. She talked to people. She smiled, be like, "Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's fantastic." Oh,
I think
my
she won a
goodness.
beauty contest once.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Not anymore, she won't.
Yeah.
I don't care about her opinion necessarily. Like, she's old. She can think whatever the fuck she wants. I think it's kind of irresponsible, though, that she's actually giving that as legitimate advice to people who are seeking it. Because obviously people who watch the show, her opinion influences somebody out there. If
Right.
that somebody is a stupid idiot, then so be it. But it influences somebody.
It's
And those
irresponsible.
Go
somebody definitely said to their husband or son or something, you should stop playing video games because it turns out you're weird now because so-and-so
Yeah.
said so. That definitely happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is sad.
I just don't know why we're taking life advice and why we're supposed to feel like weird, like we're supposed to be made to feel weird by a woman who became a born-again Christian after watching one Billy Graham film. Watched one movie and said, that makes sense, I'm a Christian now, goodbye Jewish heritage. You know, it's...
Well, you know what I
Let's
always
take
say?
life advice from these dicks.
Exactly. I mean, you know how He-Man can tell if he's doing a good job in life.
What?
You know He-Man?
Yes, I know He-Man.
Yeah, he knows, he rates himself on how good of a job he's doing as He-Man by how pissed off Skeletor is at him and how much shit. Like if Skeletor would ever
So
be
what
like,
you're saying is
Yes.
that somewhere this morning there was a fellow in a basement going, I can't believe Kathie Gifford said this about me.
A really good Skeletor impression.
Go and give her book a negative review on Amazon. Yeah. I'm going to go back and play Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that it sucks about this is that there are going to be a lot of gamers who overreact. I mean, I just did say we should burn her in an aquarium, but I mean, at the same time, I would love the opportunity to go on that show and be like, why would you say that? Just be like, I'm a pretty normal dude. Like I can go to normal social gatherings.
It's because she's awful. I mean,
Yeah.
she's really bad. When people who are the worst think I'm the worst, I feel like I'm the best. You know?
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
that's
I'm
the thing.
trying to
Is she's not even awful. Like
she's pretty awful.
she has handlers. She's like Britney Spears. Like she doesn't. It's the fact
She's
that they're
awful.
letting her.
Sweatshops, born-again Christian conversion after one Billy Graham speech, shallow, immaterial values, vacant stare, brainless. The
you're
list
gonna-
goes on. She's terrible.
And her vagina smells of poo.
Oh god!
I once
Shit
saw
out her pussy. That's
How did you know?
disgusting.
She did a poo in her hand and then she put it up her chuff.
I saw
That's the stuff of nightmares.
I saw a video clip of somebody doing that once, and it's called Salsa Snack.
I like the,
I swear to God, go to salsasnack.com, but not right now. Or not if you're at work.
Beast man, Photoshop Kathie Lee Gifford having a salsa snack.
My
I swear to God.
You'll be so embarrassed.
I'd like to point out that for a moment, in the back of my head, I was like, I just said my pussy's full of shit, and I'm in a chat room with a lady. That's very rude. And then Tara's like, guys, go to salsasnack.com.
It's got its own .com, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's
It's
interesting.
not even a .org or .net. Yeah. You know, now I really want Skeletor, Starscream, and Cobra Commander to have their own show.
It would be
Let's
amazing.
want them to have
That
their
would
own
be-
lozenge commercial.
Whoa, yeah, that's right. You don't want 20 minutes. You want...
I can't believe they said this about me! Just because I like to play Donkey Kong!
was that Starscream or Cobra Commander?
It's impossible to tell. They were the same voice actor.
That's
And
Frank
you
Welker.
know, there's only-
Cobra Commander is more like that!
Yeah, it's Starscream! Anyway.
And Starscream is more like that!
They're getting their own toy. Cobra Commander driving Starscream is coming out of Comic-Con next week.
Are you serious?
That is fantastic.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah,
Oh my god, I love that shit. I love that crossover shit.
me too. I'm a nerd.
I want to get back into Transformers. I miss them. I want to play with my toys. I miss my action figures. They're all in fucking storage. God
Yeah.
damn it.
I let a friend of mine borrow them. Did I tell you this already? My old bass player from my high school.
Oh yeah, we went over that.
Yeah, he owes me like 300 different Transformers, Scorponok included.
I love that. That wasn't a podcast. That was the conversation we had, right?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay. Just
But
for
one
those
that we
unaware.
recorded and for some reason are going to put on the internet.
Okay. Okay. Let's back this up. Jonathan Holmes was once in a band called.
Johnny Holmes and the friggin' Speed Bumps.
Okay, and he had a what instrument was it?
I sang,
No,
but I wasn't
what did-
called Johnny Holmes.
The guy who has your Transformers.
Oh, the Funky Pudding. He was the
The Funky
one
Pudding.
of two bass players.
Right, and you wanted to get the gang back together, and the Funky Pudding wasn't having it, so you decided to call into question the fact that he had your Scorponok, was it?
He has all of my Centurions, and that's a
That
lot.
fucker.
It's pretty much all the Centurions. The green guy, the yellow guy, and the blue guy, the flying guy.
Does he have your headmasters?
Yeah, well, Scorponok, as you know, is a headmaster. He's got my Six Changer. He's got
Runs a boarding school.
yeah. He's got all he's got all of the Aerobots who transformed into I'm blanking his name, something really bland like Guardian or something like that. Anyway, you know, an extensive amount of Transformers. I pretty much bought every Transformer with my own money. I saved up, babysat when I was a kid, and he said he would borrow them for the rest of his life. And I said, that's fine, but, you know, when you die, you can have them back. I'm thinking about calling him and getting them back, because he won't let Johnny Holmes and the friggin' Speed Bumps reform. And that's my
That
story.
fucking pudding.
Funky Pudding, son of a bee, if you're
Why
listening
don't
to
you
this
get some
pudding.
new pudding for your band?
I could get some new pudding.
Get the sassy pudding.
It's not the same.
The Jello
would-
kind.
Yeah, Jello. That would be delicious. I love it. So is that all of our... We have one more topic, right? iOS games?
Yeah, I think all that remains to be said on the other topic is I'll get you, Gifford, next time. And that's all the 80s cartoon characters I can do voices of.
Ancient spirits of evil.
Oh, that new Thundercats. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Fucking Mumra was the shit.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He had a dog that was also a mummy. It was
Mama,
a bulldog for no reason.
Yeah, Mama's amazing. Yeah. I spent probably a half hour reenacting Thundercats episodes to my significant other last night. She was almost interested. She was right on the border of interested.
Okay,
She kept
well,
going. Yeah.
I'm going to cut you right there because I'm going to stop the
Please.
recording again just to make sure everything's banked, kick it up again, and then we will... Jesus,
back
why have
after
we
these
got another
messages.
topic?
Huh?
And we're back. Okay, let's try. Please, I'm begging you all, be brief with this next topic. we want to touch on rip-offs on. I don't know why I needed to say that 3 times. I forgot the rest of the sentence. iOS rip-offs in the sphere of mobile gaming.
Right.
Holmes, you wanted to chat this up, so lead us off, please, mate.
Okay. I thought I was puzzled by some of the comments I got. I recently posted the thoughts of Edmund McMillan the co-creator of Super Meat Boy, made that game, and that game recently got the premise of it anyway was pretty much stolen beat for beat. It's a little square guy who can run and wall jump, and he's got a floaty jump, and he's trying to get through all these buzzsaws. That's basically Super Meat Boy for the first level and the last level and most of the levels in between. That exact concept was taken and put on an iOS game called Tobar, I think it's called. But instead of the little being a little red square, it's a little white square. And there's like lasers sometimes. So other than that, it looks like the exact same game. Some people actually came out and said, "Oh, that's not really a ripoff. That's just, tribute there. You didn't take the idea. It's just similar." Whereas to me, it was beat for beat the exact same thing. But Edmund didn't care. He just saw it as flattery. Said imitation is the best form of flattery, and he doesn't care. That guy will make money off of his idea, and just moving forward with this new game. So I thought that was pretty big of Edmund. He's a nice enough guy. What do you guys think?
I think Super Meat Boy is a household name. Like, that's a thing we all talk about. You say Super Meat Boy, we all think of Super Meat Boy. I've literally already forgotten the name of this ripoff.
Tobar.
Snowball? Oh,
Tobar.
Tobar.
Like Tobal, but not as good.
Here's my thing on it. I think when we use the word ripoff, or rather the term ripoff, and when we use the word plagiarism, we have to be very careful with that word. Okay. Both of those terms are incredibly powerful ones that gamers especially run the risk of devaluing. There's nothing I find more offensive than the devaluation of words. Speaking as a writer and just a sort of a general fan of the English language. Sure. So I'm always hesitant, unless it is like they are really ripping it off. Like, they're not just taking the general idea, like they're using assets, they're using the exact same concept. And I think that's the difference between Tobar and Super Meat Boy and what we saw with, what was it, Mr. Explosion or something?
Oh, Maxplosion.
Maxplosion and
Maxplosion.
And Splosion Man, when Capcom put up Maxplosion. And we had Splosion Man by, obviously, the Twisted Pixel guys, lovely guys, who were well within their rights to be pissed off, because the character looked almost identical, the gameplay was exactly the same, and even the premise looked like it had been taken, like, wholesale lifted.
The music was the same. That was crazy.
There you go as well. The music was the same. You compare that to Tobar and Meat Boy, the character looks different, the physics are different. Yes, the general gameplay is the same, and they've also taken a similar art style, but I don't think he's trying to fool anyone with that.
So I think the line you're drawing, Jim, if I'm not mistaken, is one is taking just the concept, but at least trying to repackage it, and the other one is actually hoping that someone might mistake one game for another.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a deceptive element to it, and there's also got to be a very lazy element to it. iOS is rife with real instances of rip-offs, like really nasty ones, like the one with The Blocks Cometh, when a different company stole someone else's game and just put it up with assets stolen from another game. Like, that stuff, that's when rip-off really needs to be used. And in the Maxplosion case, incredibly lazy, no effort went into that. They just took the exact same game with the exact same character, slightly dicked with the art style in a desperate attempt to not get sued, and that was it. And I have a feeling Macmillan doesn't care so much because he knows that people will look at it and think, oh, this is kind of like Super Meat Boy but on iOS. I can dig that. It's like Super Meat Boy. It's not Super Meat Boy. And I think that's the difference between that and I think it's a difference exhibited by Gameloft as well. Like, people have a go at them. People say, oh, Bungie should sue Gameloft for copying Halo. And
are those the people that also did that Uncharted ripoff?
They did
Shadow
or
something?
You see, using that word again.
I think it's shadowy.
It is Shadow something, and they've also got one that's like Assassin's Creed called Backstab, and they've got ones that are like Warcraft and Starcraft, but again, like, the thing is they're not trying to fool anyone. I think you can easily tell what their inspiration is, and they're also trying to do it in a different way. They're bringing a type of game that those companies aren't bringing to iOS. And also, they are putting the effort in. They are original worlds. The stories are they're not mind-blowing, but they've made unique characters and art styles and everything. They've definitely copied the genre tropes, but they've not exactly copied particular games like down to the letter, and I find that perfectly acceptable.
If I can interject for a second.
Of course.
I consider myself something of an expert on plagiarism. I've actually published several papers on the topic, so those are my credentials. That said, there's two forms of plagiarism. There's blatant copy-pasting, and there is plagiarism of ideas. And what Jim said about not specifically using the word plagiarism it's very true. Like because I used to deal with like plagiarism and medical articles at my old job, and we were never allowed to actually use that word when speaking with people who we were accusing, basically, of not plagiarism but similarities. Looking at Tobar, it's very obvious that it was inspired by Meat Boy, and I don't have a problem with that. And obviously, if the creators of Super Meat Boy don't care, then it doesn't really matter. But I do find it a little sketchy that he's charging for his game, because it's for sale on the App Store for 99 cents. It's not free or anything.
Oh,
which
no.
is, and I was kind of under the impression that this was a guy who created this game with not very much experience.
That's
At
right.
least that's what Edmund made it seem like, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Which is fine, I guess. Put it on the App Store, go nuts. But I don't think he should be charging people for it when it's clearly a plagiarism of idea.
Okay. So it's plagiarism, but not wholesale, like across the board plagiarism, just specifically of idea.
But then,
is that right?
There's no black and white plagiarism. It's all shades of gray.
Okay. I see your argument there, but
of acceptability.
Whoa.
But if we were to scale that up and say take Darksiders, which when it comes to plagiarism of idea, they very shamelessly and again, I'm not saying that in an accusatory way. I love Darksiders. I fucking love it. But the game is basically a darker Legend of Zelda. They took so many ideas from Legend of Zelda and other games as well. And of course they charge $60 for it because it's a retail game. It's like, where does the line draw between what's acceptable to charge for and what's not?
For me, it's pretty specific, the line. Like, if a game Super Meat Boy only has like 3 elements to it. You run, you jump, and if you touch the buzzsaws, you die.
It's a very simple game.
It's an incredibly simple game, which is why I feel like it's not as reprehensible to copy.
Right. Well, it's actually, for me, it's a little more so. Because Zelda, on the other hand, has tons of different aspects to it. There's the puzzles, there's the weapons, there's the boss fights, there's the exploring, So if you take that general theme but change all the specifics, that's not that big of a deal. Like, whereas if you use a lot of the specifics, it's...
Darksiders has got a boomerang.
Yeah, but like if in Darksiders you went and to get not the Triforce but the Biforce or something, it was 2 triangles, and if you're saving Princess Belda, that would be bad. But they redid the entire scenario, and not all the weapons are exactly the same, and so it's not as
obviously back to like Tobar. Like, it's Super Meat Boy is such a simple game,
right?
Aesthetically, it's simple. It's like, but
it's still pretty unique, even though it's pretty simple. Like, there's no game quite like it, especially when it comes to the buzzsaw aesthetic. Just a level filled with buzzsaws. There's
Tobar, but it's like, Super Meat Boy was kind of it's an homage to like old school platformers. Like, it's very buzzsaws in a platformer. Like, they have that. That's a thing.
If you saw the trailer, you would see the similarities.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I'm saying.
The level design is almost exactly the same.
There are if the level designs are like
Meat Boy with a different color scheme.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well,
that's how it looks.
I'm obviously I haven't seen it, so I'm. But there are so few elements. Like, it's such a simple thing. Like, when you see a knockoff of a Snuggie, like, you see like, oh, it's a cozy blanket, and it's like it's a blanket with sleeves. Like,
actually, the Slanket came before the Snuggie.
Well, there you go.
Snuggie was a ripoff of the Slanket.
You see those Adidas that have 4 stripes instead of 3? It's like, it's because it's that simple. There's like,
if I can take what Max said and slightly change the argument.
Okay.
As you said, Legend of Zelda is a bit more complex. There's a lot more to it. So if you decide to make a game, if you're really inspired by The Legend of Zelda and you want to do your own take on that, there's so much more to play with.
Right.
If you love Super Meat Boy and you want to make an homage to Super Meat Boy and you're really inspired by it and you're like, these guys make the exact kind of games I like, I want to make a game like that, there's so much less to play with. So if you're inspired by Super Meat Boy, any game is going to look so much more closer to that because there's so much less to change. Rather than if you do, like, you can change the story, the weapons, the environmental layout of Legend of Zelda to make your own, like, Darksiders or something else. If you want to make your own take on the Super Meat Boy style of game, you are so much more limited. That said, I mean, he could have easily mitigated this by, say, making it look like a drawing. Like, he could have done a doodle style, art style, made it look like a stickman or something, and made it look a lot more different. He did go for that pixel art, and there are
Sorry, go on. I'll wait. I can hold on to it.
I'll just say there are other things he could have done to change it for sure, but he was a lot more limited if he really wanted to use Super Meat Boy as a base. And as you said, it's his first game. You know, he's trying to do his best. I don't begrudge the man for trying to make like $1 out of it. And he's not like tried to hide anything. He's got a trailer up. You can make your own decision. You're not going to be hoodwinked or anything.
Yeah.
You know, and fair play to him. Like, I hope that... I mean, if his next game is exactly the same, then, you know, there might be something to worry about. But for now, it's like, you know, he's a little garage developer, and he was obviously very inspired by Meat Boy. I find it difficult to label him with the same kind of brush that I would tar the guy like Edison Games who stole the Blocks Cometh, or Capcom Mobile who did Splosion.
That's inexcusable because they have people checking this. They're doing a big thing. Like, this is a guy, you know? This is a guy. He's making things in his own room. You know, it's like leave him alone.
I'll say my final piece on it. If he just wanted to make a game that was like Super Meat Boy on Steam actually has a level editor, so he could just do that. If that was his inspiration, like, oh, I love Super Meat Boy, I want to make my own levels, well, they actually provide you with all those tools. So if that was what he wanted to do, he could have just done that. I think he wanted to take Super Meat Boy and say, oh, I can sell this to a market that's never heard of it. The dumb iPhone market, you know, moms and dads and kids. Yeah, those idiots. They don't read Destructoid. They don't know about this game.
I'm going to make $17.
I'm going to take that concept and sell it to an audience that hasn't seen it and change it enough for the people that have seen it that they can't get that mad at me, but basically not come up with anything new. And I just don't have any respect for that. I mean, especially, I know I was going to stop talking, but...
Well, guess what? Like, if no one had said anything about this, would he have made much money? Like, is it a runaway hit?
I don't know. That's a good question.
He's getting a lot of press for it. Huh?
Yeah, we might be helping him sell.
Is this a guy that sold 3 copies and you're just picking on him?
I don't know. Maybe I would be.
Is he 9 years old?
No,
he recently came off a big job with PopCap, and you're having a go at him.
He's got a lot of vanity videos with him like singing and playing guitar on YouTube.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's
Right, let's have a go at that.
That would be better. But you put all this time and energy into a video game, and you just take someone else's idea and repackage it. That just seems like such a bad thing to encourage. Anyway, I hope people take their time and energy and express themselves instead of just ripping off people. It's boring.
You'll have an easy time finding work with Treyarch. Oh! Okay, time for some questions. Then we can get out of this.
I love questions.
Thing.
Yeah, me too.
I hope someone asks us if it's weird, for people who play video games.
I put in the questions thread. I called it Podtoid 108. God damn it.
Close enough. They know what you meant.
Yeah.
They're all very stupid anyway. It's no big deal. But SOBs.
Very stupid. That's how you let them know.
Tuo Man asks, with the fluctuating costs of DLC and mobile games, do you feel that the industry, what is Jonathan Holmes' ethnicity?
Wow.
Gotta love Tuo Man.
Yeah, that was impressive. I'm not answering it or anything.
No.
I feel like
Holes.
with the changing price point, it really is very likely that Eskimo.
Could be. I can't reveal all my secrets now. That would be depressing. So, I will say maybe.
Holds Miento says he wants us to use certain video game elements to describe our libido. For myself, he wanted a video game weapon. So I'm going to say the chainsaw bayonet because it cleaves through unsuspecting ugly people. I don't know. I rape huggers. Jonathan, video game soundtrack.
For my libido?
Yes.
What? Dr. Feelgood? Was that in a video game? Dr. Feelgood.
That doesn't count.
That's all I got. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I got one. I know what it is. It's the shopkeeper theme from Secret of Evermore.
Actually, we've all got our own ones.
No, I know. That's for Holmes. No, God, no.
Oh, okay.
It's very.
Can you sing that?
It's like soothing acoustic guitar.
I do have a soothing libido.
Well, let me.
You're just digging it up?
Yeah.
A whole video game soundtrack.
I picked a track.
I guess Rhythm Heaven. Yeah, I'd have to go with Rhythm Heaven. It's
Max.
bouncy. Yeah.
Max, video game vehicle.
Oh God. Fuck, man. That's fun.
This is hard, isn't it? I don't even know why I said Dr. Feelgood. That wasn't even a joke. I just want to sing that song right now. It's a good song.
God damn. Come back to me. Ask Tara about her libido.
Okay.
I'll help think of a vehicle for you.
Tara, video game animal.
Sonic the Hedgehog? He's fast, right?
Yep.
What does that say about me?
That you're quickly
That
to the
I'm
point?
fast?
Yeah, you don't
Isn't
take too...
fast a euphemism for slutty?
Yep. I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble with those blogs again.
No, sure, let's go with that.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I have Jonathan Holmes' libido here. I think. Listen. Okay, that's not it at all. That's not it. That's horrible.
That was us.
You just said his libido was just people laughing.
Yep. Didn't mean to do that. That's horrible.
I think a pretty good vehicle for you, Max, would be the Akuma robot from Cyberbots on the Saturn.
No.
There's a sex bot
There's a sex bot.
in Fallout.
That's
yeah.
not a vehicle.
It's not really a vehicle, though.
What's
yeah.
No,
It's a bot.
vehicle, but you mentioned bot.
I'm just thinking of vehicles I like. I don't know. Probably.
Bionic arm?
I got one. It's the BT injection in Grand Theft Auto.
Maybe it's the Manipult.
That's a possibility. Here, listen to this.
That sounds about right for you.
There's Jonathan Holmes' libido. You hearing that?
That's boring.
It's like soothing. It's like
It is a little soothing and
yeah,
boring.
it's a soothing lovemaking.
No, you don't
It's like
want that.
it sounds
You want
like
that song
candles
to
lit.
libido.
I could
That's
be in one of
Jonathan's
those.
libido.
You know those porns for women, where there's like a kind of balding guy who's like really sensitive, and a lot of time is just spent with like putting rose petals on her body and stuff like that. I could be in one of those.
That's what I just said. It sounded
Yeah.
like that. You know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You just have those big shoulders for holding. They're not for punching. They're for holding.
Yeah, I do like to hold people. It's true.
Okay. Were there other questions?
Okay. Retro says, since Jim is now a character in a video game, what future video games would you all like to star in? And what would be your role in said video game?
Huh.
That's hard.
Oh, I could be a boss in Streets of Rage. Or an
you'd be
enemy
a good
like
boss.
yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Be like the leader of the prostitutes. That doesn't sound very good for me, but it's hard to think of.
No, that and saying that you were fast earlier as well. This is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think easy is slutty. Fast is like.
The fast is also, I believe,
Fast is also slutty.
fast
If you
and
move
loose.
I'll Google it.
quickly.
Well, the leader of the prostitutes is a madam, and she doesn't have to answer anyone. She's in
I
charge.
could be a madam, like
You
of a brothel.
Okay, we get it. Tara Long's a hooker.
Do you have one?
Anybody else?
I really like realistically. I would love to be in. I'd love to be like a really annoying character in Grand Theft Auto, or like a really like someone with a really. Okay, that guy in New Vegas who's just like, man, they fucking broke my fucking legs. They goddamn broke the fuck out of my legs. I'd like to be one of those characters like that who you just meet for a second and he doesn't actually really do anything important. You just kind of chat with him and you're like, who is this fucking idiot? Like, I want to do that. Or just a random enemy who just shouts like, you know, like, who like shouts stupid things. Like, you know, when you hear, like in GTA when you walk by somebody and they're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Like one of those dumb one-liners. I want to be one of those people.
In No More Heroes 2, they go, what, are you nervous? What, nervous? Like every time you hit them. What, are you nervous? It's really annoying. I would be a snail boss in Parappa the Rapper 3. And
you would.
I would rap about being sleepy and slow, but to a really fast beat. Yeah, that would be fun. A little snail boss. I feel good. More questions, Jim?
Epic KX Dtoid wants us to just give a little shout out, and I'm going to do it, to Alpha Deus, who in the community blogs on Destructoid.com, it's in the sidebar to the right, he is working on an album for Destructoid. They're spreading the word out, and they've spoken to the editors, and we've kind of helping him out. So that's something to look forward to. When it actually comes out, we will talk about that at the top of the show in my new administration section. So that's all right. Okay, what have we... I'll be totally honest with you, I didn't have time to look through the questions, so I'm just scrolling through. Rex Wolf has... I mean, he's got ones for all of us again. I did say stop it, but this
damn it, Rex.
Rex Wolf 2, just, Max, if you could make a Squid Bear game, what would it be like?
That could be really good.
You'd play as a squid bear. It would be like you'd just be a monster. Like you just go around like fucking shit up. It'd be like Prototype, but there wouldn't be any bullshit where you're like, oh, are you good? Are you evil? Are you gonna be bad? It would just be like, you're a fucking squid bear. You're gonna eat that car. You're gonna fuck that car, and then you're gonna eat that car because you can.
No story, just action.
Fuck that morality system. I hate that shit. I got morality problems in real life.
Because Squid Bear doesn't have to talk, right? He acts.
It'd just be Squid Bear versus the suburbs, and you'd just be a squid bear in like a really nice suburban area. You're like, Walnut Creek, you're gonna get fucked up.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I can make a game.
That'd be a great game.
He says, Jim, what pisses you off most about the industry today? And that would be the fight against used games that publishers undertake. Just because I think it's an incredibly short-sighted and infantile way of dealing with it. Like the whole online pass thing. There's all of that, and all of publishers trying to gain more control over something they've already sold. I find it's an incredibly insidious little practice. Jonathan, what game/studio do you love that you don't actually talk about very much?
Oh, that's a good question. That I really love?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I talk about Nintendo R&D 1 a good amount. I talk about Gaijin games a good amount. I talk about Capcom. Crap. Who do I love that I don't really talk about? Arika has done some stuff that I actually really like. They did the Street Fighter EX games, which were not ready to be made at the time. They weren't actually good, but they liked them in spirit. Yeah. And they did the new Excite Bike that I like, the 3DS one. It's fun.
Yeah.
They make some good games. Not really worth talking about, though. That's why I don't talk about it.
He had a question for Tara as well. I have no idea if she's going to answer this one. Who was the better co-host on the Dtoid show, Holmes or Scoville? Fight!
Ooh.
Yeah, that's awkward.
I'm just kidding. They're both
Sorry, my girlfriend just crashed into the
for
vacuum.
crying out loud.
the Holmes.
I say
Okay.
Max.
My
He's
answer is
much
Holmes.
better looking. Max is much cuter and funnier. He's taller.
Actually, that's a negative.
Yeah, I have
What,
to
to be
sit on a stool.
Well, it's good. I made Tara look better because I'm less funny and
Are you saying
weird.
I'm ugly now?
No, but I like you and Max are comparably attractive.
Aw.
Whereas you know how it is when you get the goofy looking guy in there.
Oh,
And
shut up, Holmes.
all right, I'll shut up.
Yeah, you shut up now. They're both
Well,
special in their own ways.
That's a cheap question. I'll put
Yeah.
it this way: when Holmes was hosting, no one was like, "Get Max in there." So
They were.
No, they weren't.
No,
No one was
such
like,
as
"We
they
need
are.
Max." They were
I'll
like,
never forget the first time me and Max hosted together. I bought him flowers. He just impromptu comedy because that's our Max. Tossed the flowers and turned to the camera, totally deadpan, and it was brilliant. And with that, he sold himself to the hearts and minds of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. It was great, and people immediately after that was like, "Get that Max guy back in the show. He's funny. I like the way he acts. I like the way he looks. I love him." They said.
I really want to
And
get.
now look how good
I really
the
want to get a
show
bring.
is.
I want to get
Go
a
to
bring
Briggles?
Holmes back shirt on for PAX. I want to get a shirt that just says, "We want Holmes," or like "Bring Holmes back," and this is a picture of your face.
It almost, to troll them, we should pretend once that I'm back. I'll fly down to San Francisco and do a
So
show
fun.
just so you can see the thousands of Bring Max Back comments you'll get. If I come back, Jesus Christ, people will freak out. The ratings will plummet. It'll be a disaster.
I should just host it for a week, and then they'll be fucking glad of whatever they get.
People would love that.
Ugh. I wouldn't know what to do. I can't read off teleprompters, or like I imagine you do that. I've never.
Neither
seen
can I.
it before.
That's why I don't. I just like paraphrase everything.
So I cannot. I'm awful at that kind of stuff. That's why my Gymquisitions just have me on camera for like 3 minutes now. Wooey re-asked his question. I asked him to do it again for this week. He wants to know how we all landed our jobs at Destructoid, and whether we were approached or whether we did the approaching, and what our jobs were before then. Whoever would like to go first.
I can go first.
Go for it.
I was and still am a social worker in a psychiatric hospital. I've been doing that for 8 years. I've been doing Destructoid for more like 4 years. And it was something I wanted to do on top of my other job. I never really intended on leaving social work because I really like it. So I tried to do 2 jobs, and I was called by this guy who was with Podtoid for a long time named Ron Workman. He used to randomly give phone calls to community members because I just did C-blogs. And he talked about himself for a while. And it was a little weird, but he was very friendly, and I still thank him for getting me started, because I said, "Hey, can I work for Podtoid?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, ask Nick." And then I was like, "Hey Nick, Ron said I could work for Podtoid." And then after bugging Nick Chester for 6 months after that, he let me write posts every once in a while, and then it's expanded from there. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Max?
Well, let's see. I used to work on it was with Current TV, which is Al Gore's cable network. They were going to be doing the IGN TV show, and I got hired on there as an intern writer because of my buddy Scott was working there, and they needed somebody who would work for free. So I did that, and that fell through kind of end of summer 2009. And I moved down to LA for a little bit and was miserable. And then I managed to move back. And in summer of 2010, I was in Santa Cruz, worked on a mobile game with some friends. And then I was like, I'm moving back to San Francisco. And while I was there and unemployed as shit and sleeping in my girlfriend's dorm room, I was on Destructoid because I had that on my RSS feed. And I wasn't really like big in the community, but I kept track of it because Ben Perlee, the old Podtoid writer, and I went to college together. And I always kind of kept tabs on what he was doing. And I saw that they were doing a call for movie writers for Flixus, and I never thought that I'd be good for like writing about video games because my opinions contradict each other or something. I don't know. But I shot him an email on Facebook, and I was like, "Yo, dude, like, can you put in a good word for me?" And he's like, he texted me like after that, and he was just like, "Look, are you free tonight? I want to talk to you about something." And he was just straight up like, "We're doing a show, and I think you'd be really good for it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, cool." And I had video experience with video games, so I was like, "Okay." And then they had me doing little like side videos. I did that one with Holmes at Japantown and Terra, and did a few of those, and then when I actually started doing the show, I was working at a coffee shop and getting up at 4 o'clock every morning, and then going to the studio and helping out behind the scenes. And then one day, Nero emailed me and was like, "Hey, Holmes is going home. Do you want to do this?" And I was like, okay. So that's what happened. That's how it happened.
And I'll have you know, Max, that I told everybody you need to get Max. Max is the
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Nobody told you that? It was
No.
deep in the bowels. I was like, definitely Max. Out of all the
Deep in the
choices you have,
bowels.
True.
take Max. Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
Tara was there.
Oh.
It's true, guys. Yeah. Kiss.
So
Oh, yes.
What?
What?
I just said kiss suddenly. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, stop being weird, Holmes.
Let's do some
All
kissing.
those video games you play. Anyway, I met Nero shortly after I moved to San Francisco when I was still telecommuting for Virginia Tech University, and he approached me in June or July of last summer about this thing. I knew that my contract position would be ending sometime soon, and I had kind of started looking for other jobs, and he was like, "Hey, I think you'd be really good for this. You want to try out?" And I did, and then I started writing for them before the show started, just to kind of get my feet wet, since I had not previously, had any experience in the video game industry. And that's kind of how things started. And then my contract ended like 2 weeks, I think, after the show started. And now it's, just that.
Wow, it's almost a year
Hello?
later, isn't it? Hi, I'm here.
It is almost 10 months that we've been doing the show. No, 9 months.
That's crazy. Wow,
That's
that's
crazy.
nuts. That's baby amount.
11?
Baby
Today's the 12th. It's been 9 months exactly plus 1 day.
The show has been
You could have had
born.
a child by now.
Yeah, you did. Kind of.
We gave birth.
And how about you, Jim? You've been here longer than everybody, right? I think you started before me.
I had my 4th year anniversary in May.
Yeah, I started 4 years ago. This November. No, that's not right. It's something like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure
It
you
was
were
slightly
before.
after me. Because I remember you being hired because you. I still remember you as Tron Knots when you were on there.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Those were the days.
Oh yes. I've told this story a lot because a lot of people ask me, but I used to work in telesales, not the bothering people up and ruining their day kind of the ones, more the mail order thing where they'd call you. I worked for a string of shit companies. If you need to send flowers, don't use a company called Interphone Flowers. I know it's considered bad to badmouth your bosses, but I'm in another country now. What are they going to do? Bunch of cunts. Really bad. Don't use them. I used to work there and a few other places. Worked in a cab firm, which I was still doing when I first was brought onto Destructoid. I had been writing online a load of places. I wrote for a game site called Project Wonderboy, which it still putters along. And I used to have my own social satire site that did Skeletor comics called Morphine Nation, which is still going around now under the name btwactually.com or actually BTW. I can't remember which. It doesn't matter. And then I decided I've been writing all this time, but still earning 40 quid a week. Maybe I should try and make some actual career out of writing. So I emailed just a whole bunch of video game people because I was into video games and liked reviewing them. Emailed GameSpot, IGN, all this kind of thing. Weirdly enough, IGN got back to me, and it was a guy called David Kleiman. I have no idea what he's doing now, but he worked for IGN Insider, their subscription site, and he gave me a job. He basically said, I will give you a contract to write an article for us. I knew a guy who worked on Tattoo Assassins, the old Data East arcade game that never got released because it was famously shit. So I wrote about the development of that and interviewed the guy and weaved that into an article. The guy liked it, bought it. That opened up a few more doors, gave me something impressive to put on my resume. I was reading Games TM magazine in the UK. That had an interview with Nero in it for Destructoid about making money in the industry. I found out they paid, which is why I emailed Nero and pretended that I was a big fan of the site. I said I'm a big long-time reader. Gave him some samples. He said, we're pretty full up on the reviews department. We could take you on as a newsy, intern type guy. Spoke to Nick Chester, who at the time was still called Nick Brutal. Actually, no, he just stopped calling himself Nick Brutal because he said to me, use your real name because otherwise you'll be introduced to people as Nick Brutal. And he took me on, gave me a chance. I did a post about curing the Red Ring of Death with towels, which everyone said old news to. And then everyone said, who the fuck is Jim Sterling? And that became a meme, and then I'm here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story
is
chase your dreams and almost work for IGN.
Yeah. I've almost worked for IGN several times. There was a guy at IGN UK who I once met him at a party, and he said, I've never before wanted to hire and punch someone in the face at the same time so much as you. He said he took one look at one of my articles and said, hire that guy, but the email got lost, so it never happened. I think it kind of worked out for the best. I ended up doing a bit of freelance for him on IGN UK, but that's a different story. Okay, I think we're more or less done. That's more or less it. Gnarly Thotep said, how much do I like the song Twilight from the 1981 album Time by Electric Light Orchestra? I like it very much. Yours truly, 2095, is my favourite song off the album, though. So there's a question that only Gnarly Thotep will enjoy. Okay, I think we're ready to wrap up.
We are, but I feel badly. Because I could have sworn Tara had a Willem Dafoe.
I was actually going to move on to that if you'd let me host my own show. No, I wanted, because people are going to be disappointed because that's all they tune in for now. But Tara, if you've got one.
The Human Centipede. Willem Dafoe plays every character, like Eddie Murphy did in The Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
So you have Willem Dafoe eating his own shit. Right?
Yeah.
And statistically watching.
And you're thinking like 3 Willem Dafoes centipedes together.
Scientist?
I was thinking 4, actually. But 3 would work.
Just a longer centipede, or is he the doctor, too? I'd want him to be the doctor.
He's also the doctor. No, he has to be the doctor, because the doctor is the creepiest character in the movie, obviously.
If I could... That's a great idea. I want to make one minor change. So, 1 Willem Dafoe... sewn up to his own arse, call it the human pill bug.
Ooh.
So,
but it has to utilize his name somehow.
So he just eats and poops and then...
The Willuman.
It's the circle of life.
Circle of
it's
life.
Ouroboros.
And he's just like... And then you've got the doctor, who I've now decided is Danny DeVito, going, "Sweet here! While I watch and tweet off!"
Then you don't even get to hear Willem Dafoe talk the entire movie?
No, because you can...
Maybe internal monologue.
You hear Willem Dafoe the whole movie just going...
Ooh, so all you get to stare at are his beady eyes and his creepy pointy nose.
Yes, exactly.
I would want
That's
voiceover.
Almost worse.
Have you guys seen Deathbed, the bed that eats people?
Mm-mm.
It's a movie you should watch, like, immediately.
I'll add that to my list. I still want to watch Evil Bong first.
Oh, yeah, that's not that good.
I didn't think it would be.
Deathbed, the bed that eats people, has a lot of voiceover. Because the only character is a bed that eats people, so it's hard to do acting with that. But there's a man who talks about it, and it's really, it's a thing.
I didn't have time for a Willem Dafoe film pitch this week. The closest I got was a title called The Hawk Boy of Kansas, which... and it just gave me an image of Willem Dafoe with wings and a magic bow and arrow. Just flying over Kansas.
He's not a boy at all at this point.
Not a boy, no. No effort made to make you think he's a boy. He just
feels like a boy.
He's just like, I've got the magic of life in me. Just call me Hawk Boy. And he's like chasing Gary Busey in a giant airship. And Gary Busey is like, "You'll never take me alive." Willem Dafoe, the Hawk Boy of Kansas. So that's what I did with my time this week.
I got one. I got one before we go.
Here we go.
Let's hear it. Let's
Call
hear
it Willem Dafoe Dogs, and it's Snow Dogs, but instead of Cuba Gooding Jr., it's Willem Dafoe, and instead of Huskies, they're like Golden Retrievers.
So the voice is Willem Dafoe, but at least you don't have like disgusting man head dog body dogs, right? It's not.
No, that's a live action film. That's about Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay.
And the Iditarod. So Willem Dafoe Dogs.
So it's the voice of Dafoe or the head?
No. He's riding these dogs. He's just got a dog sled.
Okay.
And these dogs are pulling him. And it's Willem Dafoe, and he's really, really mean to the dogs.
Oh, he's the Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah. And
I get it.
the dogs are all Golden Retrievers, so they're like really nice, and they're not good at pulling a dog sled, and he's just fucking mean to them. But like in that kind of like quiet mean, where he's just like, "Oh, you dogs have been terrible," and then he puts on lipstick and gets in bed with another man or something.
Does he secretly have a heart of gold?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't even win the Iditarod. He just gets stuck in the middle of the fucking like tundra, and he has to eat all the dogs.
I would not watch that movie.
That movie could be effective if they played Sarah McLachlan during the dogs getting yelled at scenes, and just showed the dogs looking at the camera, looking like really depressed and alone.
Fuck that.
Yeah, people would really feel sad for those dogs.
God damn it.
Okay, I've got one.
Another one.
Just one more. Right. The Human Mirror, in which Willem Dafoe has his face, like in Face Off, like cut off. He has his whole face taken off, turned around, stitched back on over his eyes, and the whole movie is just 2 hours of him strapped in a chair looking at his own face and screaming.
What?
He's just like, I don't like this! Ow! Like that. While
But his eyeballs are still appropriately oriented.
yeah, like it's never explained. That's
Cartoon.
That's never explained. Somehow, just putting the face on backwards means he is staring at his own face.
Well, like a good zombie outfit.
Yeah, and like like in the background, you can see Danny DeVito saying, "Don't bother explaining it. I'm joking off."
Would he go out to like buy chips and soda and stuff like that while screaming and upset about it?
No,
or
he is strapped. He's like tied to a chair
he's strapped. It's
with
torture.
razor wire, and he is just screaming, and that's it for 2 hours, just screaming and screaming, saying things like, "I can see Willem Dafoe forever," things like that, and he pisses and shits halfway through, obviously, and that's it. That's the film. I reckon I could probably get a parental guidance on that.
Probably. I think Werner Herzog would love making that movie with you.
Yeah.
It's a new grizzly man. Grizzly man of our generation, yeah.
I cannot escape the truth of me! For 2 hours. I tell you what, make it 3, give them their money's worth.
Sure, longer the better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. The time for us to stop. I am your host, Jim Sterling, and I'm really pleased that you've all been with us. Don't forget to get the Android app. Because we think you want to pay for this shit.
Yeah, pay money for this shit.
For this utter nonsense. But no, seriously, thank you. And, do the usual thing. Subscribe on your RSS or iTunes.